I would like to introduce the members of the ELS that are part of today's meeting and that will participate in the decision-making of this subcommittee. I would like to start with myself. I'm Mfundo Maseti. I'm the member primarily responsible for gas regulation, and I'm also the chairperson of the electricity subcommittee. With me today, I am joined by the chairperson of the National Energy Regulator, Mr. Tembani Bukula. I would like Mr. Bukula to greet so that they can be able to relate your voice when you are speaking.
Yeah, Mr. Bukula momentarily have a connection issue. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Let me then move on to introduce Mr. Musuvukile Mkhize, who is the member primarily responsible for petroleum pipelines and is the member of the electricity subcommittee. Mr. Mkhize.
A very good morning to you, Chairperson, attendees to this meeting, as well as the members of the public following us through the various live streaming channels. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to now move on to Advocate Nomalanga Stole, who is the CEO of NERSA and the member of the electricity subcommittee. Advocate Stole.
Good morning, Chairperson, and to members, and as well as NERSA management and support staff, and all the members of the public that have joined us for this particular meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Ms. Tembe Kasemane, who is the member of the electricity subcommittee as well as the chairperson of the finance committee. Ms. Semane.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. Good morning to you. Good morning to our NERSA colleagues, and good morning to the members of the public. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mabunda, may I check if Mr. Bukula is now on the call?
Not yet, Chair.
Okay. All right. Then we are moving on, colleagues. I would like to now move on to the adoption of the agenda. We've got a proposed agenda, members. Any withdrawals or additions to the agenda? Mr. William Mkhize.
Chairperson, good morning. We would like to withdraw items 6, 7, and 14, which will be presented at the next ELS. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Members, are you then happy to adopt the agenda with those 3 items to be removed as they are not ready for the meeting? By show of hands. Mr. Mkhize? Is you supporting? Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mkhize, for the support. Advocate Stole. Mr. Mane, are you also supporting the withdrawal? Thank you, Mr. Mane.
Yes, ma'am. I have my hand up.
Thank you very much. I also support. Members, having supported the withdrawal, are you now happy to adopt the agenda without those 3 items by show of hands? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Support. Thank you, Advocate Stole. Thank you, Mr. Mane. Thank you very much, colleagues. We are now going to start with the, just before that, there are forms for declaration of interest. If you can kindly remember to complete the forms and to submit them to Mr. Walter Mabunda, members, as well as members of staff. We now going to item number 5, which are the regulatory reports, and we're starting with the application for an electricity trading license by NOAA Group Trading Pty Ltd. It is here for approval. Please introduce the matter.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning once again to yourself and to members, as well as the staff and the public on this call. Chairperson, we take the matter as having been read, but I will just highlight some points regarding this application for the purpose of introducing the subject. I'll start by saying NOAA applied for this license on 12 April 2023. NOAA has 20-year agreements. It's generator power purchase agreements with Wind Garden for 90 megawatts for the installed capacity of 86 megawatts contracted capacity. So they have entered into an agreement with a generator They have also entered into a 20-year customer power purchase agreement with Netcare Group for a quantum of about 7.7 megawatts, covering 6 Netcare hospitals. Chairperson, ESCOM has objected to this application as analyzed in the RFD, but for the details of this application, Chairperson, I will give it over to Mr. Sipiwe Kumalo to take the members through the application. Thank you, Chair.
Good morning, members. Through you, Chair, I will take the submission.
Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, Chair, members, and colleagues. I will take the submission as read. The purpose of the submission is to request Electricity Subcommittee to recommend that the energy regulator approve NOAA to be issued with a trading license. The issuance of new license is delegated to the energy regulator. The Electricity Subcommittee is required to recommend them to the energy regulator for approval as per clause 1.1 of the delegation matrix. Lodged an application on the 12th of April 2024. The sequence of events regarding the submission of all information on table 4 of the RFD. NOAA, as a trader, has entered into a 20-year GPPA with Wind Garden with an installed capacity of 90 megawatts and contracted capacity of 86 megawatts. Wind Garden is registered by NESA, and the facility is located at the remainder of Veras Farm in the Eastern Cape. The generator Wind Garden has amended the DCOSA with ESCOM, the network service provider, to include NOAA as an off-taker of energy. And the agreement was signed on 9 July 2024. NOAA has also entered into a 20-year CPPA with Netcare Hospitals Pty Ltd with a contract capacity of 7.7 for 6 hospitals. The applicant and NESA has duly advertised the application in compliance with the ERA. During the public hearing, ESCOM presented the objection, and the analysis of the objection can be found in table 3 of the RFD. The NESA comprehensive legal analysis of ESCOM objection and licensing of trading application is contained in paragraph 8.1 to 8.9 of the RFD, attached as Appendix A. It is requested that the Electricity Subcommittee recommend to the energy regulator to approve that NOAA Group Trading be issued with a 20-year trading license to trade in electricity, subject to the license condition imposed. The draft license is attached as Annex A of the RFD. Note the 20-year GPPA between NOAA and Wind Garden. Note 20-year CPPA between NOAA and Netcare Hospitals Pty Ltd. Note the tariff in the CPPA between NOAA and Netcare Hospitals. Note the tariff in the GPPA between NOAA and Wind Garden, and approve reason for decision. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions of clarity on this application? By show of hands, members. Mr. Mkhize, we go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I think it is also in order that one applauds the team for the improvement regarding the crafting of these submissions. I've been very vocal in the past regarding the quality, but I think where there are improvements, one also needs to applaud the team and yourself, Chairperson. I would just like to get a few things clarified. Under 4.4, maybe outside of the meeting, if I can be educated in terms of how these places are described, so that one can understand them better in terms of location. And then 4.8, under 4.8, I just got a challenge there because you are stating that ESCOM has refused to process the amendment application, indicating that NOAA must first acquire a trading license from NERSA as a prerequisite. But you find that when you go further to read this submission, you then get that Eskom at the same time is objecting to the very submission or application. Did you verify this with the Eskom? And then, as I said earlier on, how does this then tie up with Eskom's objection that is looking at 4.4? And then when I then look at the analysis in the RFD, I'd just like to check with you if we have from our side as I'll say for trading, has the minister promulgated regulations in terms of Section 35 of ERA regarding subsection 4Q, which states that the conditions subject to which the regulator may issue a license, or alternatively, has the regulator made rules regarding trading under Section 35(3), subsection 3D? Or are we in the process of that? Because last time I remember when we were looking at these trading licenses, one of the issues I've put forth was that I would support, provided we are going to move with speed in terms of the drafting of these rules. So I would appreciate to be assisted there. And I think under 7.7, on page 8 of 292, I think that there you should just make it one sentence, talk of a supply area under C. If you can just correct that. Yeah, that is all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Ms. Semane.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. From my side, the first comment is on page 5 of 292 of our pack, which is for the submission is 4.13, table 4, where the sequence of events regarding the submission of information. My concern is just the first two, without even looking further down. The time it took us from the 12th of April, when NOAA submitted its application, and up to we only acknowledged just receiving the application on the 7th, which is 15 working days, and is 21 working days. I mean, it's 21 days. It's 15 working days and it's 21 days. So for me, I felt that an acknowledgement of receipt is something that you can do as you receive the application. If the team can maybe take me to their confidence in terms of the time lapsed between when the application was submitted and when we acknowledged receipt. Why did we take so long? That's my first question or comment. Then the other one is on page 45. Sorry, I just have to get there, but it is actually on the response on Eskom's response to the previous hearing. Eskom's responses. So there is a, I think it's 1.6, yes, where Eskom is saying, I'm just getting to the page, where Eskom is saying that we have not developed rules for trading. I just want to get the actual wording. Okay, here we go. I just wanted to get the actual wording. Then, if it's already if this part is already responded here, I would like our team to just highlight that. Then the other one is on page 3 of 9 of the document that says Eskom responses to NESA's questions on trading license by NOAA Group on paragraph 1.7. where we are referred as, it says, in matters where the area of supply was in dispute, NESA has under oath maintained. I don't recall us being under oath when we are presiding over our matters. So I just wanted to bring that to the surface. Then the next one on the same document. I think it's page 45. Let me just go back. Then the other one is sorry, Madam Chair, for the up and down. The pack is just huge. So my other comment was on 1.4 and another one was on 1.7, but I skipped 1.6. What I also wanted to also bring to light is 1.6, where in the ESCOM document where it says the application before the regulator and the comments by the ALS during the deliberation of 1st October 2024 insinuates that the area of supply is only limited to network services. I won't finish the sentence here. I just feel that the choice of word, if you go and look on what insinuates means, it means manipulation and all other ugly words. So I just wanted to also leave this. I do not think it's appropriate that when we do our job, we are called what names like this. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Mane. Let me go to Advocate Tole.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thanks to the presenter. Chair, I just have one point of clarity, or rather confirmation, and this relates to page 13, paragraph 3, bullet 2. To just get confirmation that our rules that we issued on the licensable areas of supply do state that they are not applicable to trading activities, because this is one of the comments or rather objection that has been raised by ESCOM. If they can just confirm that for us, I would appreciate it. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. The team, may you please provide the responses to the questions by the members? Straight to the point.
Thank you, Chairperson. I will hand over to Kabelo to respond, but where there are gaps, I will try to fill in the gaps. Ms. Yotlo, you can come in.
Thank you. Can I please ask Mr. Kumalo to take the questions? Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, members. To answer Mr. Mkiza's questions regarding the issue that is raising that ESCOM is objecting to the trader and has informed the trader that it must first obtain a trading license before they can enter into agreements. In this case, for NOAA Group, the ESCOM has amended the use of system agreement to include NOAA as the off-taker of the energy that will be sold by the generator. And then the only outstanding thing that ESCOM informed them, it's something that it is being done at a later stage, is to amend the electricity supply agreement, where ESCOM must amend that agreement with the customers that are going to buy energy from NOAA Group. And then the question that Mr. Mkize wanted to find out, how far are we with developing the procedures and the framework? That process has started, and the submission will be tabled in the ELS before the end of this financial year, and the rules will be developed in conjunction with all the stakeholders. Thank you. And then the questions from Ms. Simani regarding the ESCOM comments. Yes, it's the document that we received from ESCOM as it is. And in terms of the acknowledgement letter, before we drafted it, yes, it's late. It was supposed to be 7 days. And then it took us 15 days because at first we had to consult with the applicant before we can acknowledge the application, because there were some issues that we wanted clarity on before we can acknowledge. But we can do better. We can acknowledge the application as soon as we receive it. On that one, I think it's an area where we will have to improve. Thank you. And then the one under oath, I don't know anything about that. I think that part will have to be revised because it's a choice of words and which is incorrect, and we will correct that one. Thank you.
All right. Okay, on that one, you can just, I don't know if ESCOM specifically used under oath, if ESCOM made reference to that, but if ESCOM did, you can just respond to indicate exactly what the member said, to state that the regulator, I mean, we adjudicate over these matters, and we actually do not, we are the ones who administer oath to the stakeholders that bring forth evidence and facts to assist us in our decision making, but we don't, make any decisions under oath in this regard. Or I don't know what is it that ESCOM was referring to. So that one does not. You don't need to. If it's ESCOM that used it, you don't need to apologize for ESCOM or correct what ESCOM has stated. If it's stated like that, all we can do is to clarify our position. That's all. Members, let me check if members are satisfied with the questions that they've asked. Are they all answered, members? Happy? And let me start with Advocate Sitole. I'll come back to the other issue, Advocate Sitole. The other issue, the chairperson of NERSA will only join at 30:30 or just 11:20. Is not part of this submission on the trading license. You may go ahead, Advocate Sitole.
No, that's noted, Chairperson. Chair, mine has not been responded to. I just wanted the team to just give confirmation or clarity that the rules that we developed and approved on the licensable distribution area of supply do not cover trading activities. I'm just raising this because it's one of the things that ESCOM is raising as an objection, to say that our rules do cover that. If they can just confirm that, Chair. Thank you. I'll appreciate it.
Thank you. Just before I go to the follow-up questions, this question was not answered. That was asked by Advocate Sitole. May you please just answer the question straight with regards to the rules that ESCOM makes reference to, whether those rules relate to the distributors or not, or licensees that operating distribution facilities. Do they also include trading activity? If you can answer that.
Chairperson, I'm not sure if you can see hands.
Yes.
But
Please
my
go.
hand was up to actually cover the point raised by Ms. Sitole. So Chairperson, the rules that pertain to licensable areas originally did not include, they actually do not include trading activities. However, ESCOM's argument is that there is the word supply in the rules. It's called licensable areas of supply. And that word supply is defined in the Act, that is the ERA, as including trading as well as distribution and other activities. So their argument is that it therefore then includes trading. So, but this is a matter, Chairperson, that we need to address as a regulator by amending these rules. And that is a process that we are still undergoing. I hope it's answered, Chairperson. Thank you.
Yes, I think it is answered, and also just note the fact that there's also court cases with regards to the granting of the trading licenses, and by amending does not mean an admission that the interpretation that has been put forward by ESCOM is the correct one, and therefore you react to it by amending. It is just to answer the question that those were relating to the what you call the district
Supply area, Chairperson.
yes, supply area, and it's not the trading. It's not the trading. Thank you. Mr. Mkize, your hand was up. Mr. Mkize, Senior. Thank you, Advocate Sitole. Can see the thumbs up, Mr. Mkize.
No, I was saying that I'm covered, but my support is subject to us proceeding with the rules within this financial year. Like as I echoed my sentiments even on the previous trading license applications, my position regarding them has not changed. Regarding us providing regulatory certainty around the issues of rules being promulgated. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mkize. All right, members, I guess we can now go straight to the recommendations if the questions were all answered adequately. Okay. All right, members, subject to the clarification and ensuring the consistency in terms of paragraph 4.8, where it's indicated that ESCOM refused to process the amendment application. I don't know what is that amendment application that Mr. Mkize already asked the question, and it should tie up with the other sentence where we stated that ESCOM concluded an agreement with is it with NOAA or the other part, Wind Garden? So if we can just make sure that there's that consistency there, and also the clarification that Mr. Mani made reference to with regards to the choice of words there, if we can just clarify that part by responding to indicate that NERSA does not, make its decisions under oath and all of that. So if you can clarify that, and then we go to the recommendations. The recommendations are on page, just going to the page, on paragraph 14, it is requested that the Electricity Subcommittee recommend to the Energy Regulator to approve that NOAA Group Trading be issued with a trading license to trade in electricity subject to license conditions imposed. And the draft license is attached. And then also to note the 20-year generator power purchase agreement that is attached here. To note the 20-year master customer power purchase agreements between Energy NOAA Group as well as Netcare Hospitals. Also to note the tariff in the master customer power purchase agreements between NOAA and the Netcare Hospital Group. To note the tariff in the generator power purchase agreements between NOAA Group Trading as well as Cetus Energy Pty Ltd. And lastly, to approve the decision as well as the reasons for decision. Members, those are all the decisions that you are required to support for the energy regulator's consideration. By show of hands, members, if you support. Thank you, Mr. Mane. Thank you, Advocate Stolle. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. I also support. Thank you, members. We now move on to the next item, which is now item number 8, the NTCSA's application for congestion curtailment to be a constrained generation ancillary service. Please take the matter as read and go to the salient points of this application.
Yes, thank you, Chairperson. I will indeed just highlight the salient points, Chairperson. The first being that NERSA approves these conditions NERSA approves the curtailment, the use of curtailment as an ancillary service with conditions. These will be confined only to the Eastern and Western Cape regions and will require periods of reviews. The curtailment has been set to only 7.5% Chairperson as opposed to 10% as ESCOM applied. There are also technical and economic justifications of this application that the NTCSA has put forward, which highlights that renewable energy plants will provide constrained generation and ancillary services, which was previously only done or supplied by the large coal power stations. Also, there will be a compensation mechanism that will be used, which the team will elaborate on. We also have stakeholder feedback, which most have emphasized that there is a need for long-term grid expansion and not just, the focus should not just be on such interventions, but should also be on the expansion of the grid. But for the details, Chairperson, I'll hand over to Ms. Dokas Rakhalakane to elaborate on the application, taking it as having been read, Chairperson. Thank you, Ms. Rakhalakane.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning to the members of the ELS and members of the public and colleagues. As Mr. Mkhize had already highlighted, that the purpose of this submission is to request the Electricity Subcommittee to recommend to the Energy Regulator to approve the application by the NTCSA to treat congestion curtailment as a constrained generation ancillary service and subject to the following conditions. Before I get to the conditions, I just wanted to highlight that this particular submission, our application is not explicitly catered for in the delegation matrix. However, it will be considered in terms of clause 5.4.3 of the terms of electricity subcommittee terms of reference, which states that the ELS can consider and recommend to the energy regulator for approval any other matter that is not explicitly delegated in the term in the delegation matrix, but is provided for in the ERA. So we are proposing the approval for this application subject to the following conditions: that the use of congestion curtailment be limited to the facilitation of additional generation capacity that has been identified in the Eastern and Western Cape regions, and that any additional connection capacity that has to be unlocked using this mechanism has to be the area in that area would have to be studied, and that additional grid capacity will need to be brought to the energy regulator for approval prior to extending the ancillary service to these other areas, and also that the effectiveness of this approval for now be limited to 3 years, after which a review will need to be conducted to check if the congestion curtailment mechanism or framework is effective, and also to check the levels also in relation to the progress that has been made to grid capacity in terms of grid expansion, grid infrastructure expansion projects. As Mr. Mkhize already indicated, the limit is set at 7.5% of each generator's energy output within any contract year, and any costs incurred that exceeds the 7.5% threshold should not be transferred to consumers. And the determination of the ancillary service charges shall comply with the Section 15.1 of the Electricity Regulation Act of 2006, and that the NTCSA is not absolved to making the requisite investments in grid capacity expansion at the appropriate times, and that the NTCSA must continue to address other forms of curtailment according to the existing grid unavailability provisions outlined in the power purchase agreements, and consequently curtailment resulting from oversupply is excluded from this approval. And we are also requesting that the Electricity Subcommittee approve the decision and reasons, recommend approval of the decision and the reasons for decision document attached as Annexure C. I will take the submission as read, but just to highlight that Table 1 in the RFD provides a brief summary of the reasons behind the conditions for this approval, and Table 3 also in the RFD provides a brief summary of the benefits of this congestion curtailment mechanism. Basically, the cost, a summary of the cost benefit analysis of this congestion curtailment framework. And as also highlighted, that the main benefits are that the main benefits to the customer include security of supply and potential decrease in electricity prices, because as more capacity is added to the grade, then that sort of like encourages competitiveness, which may in return drive the electricity prices down. So I will end it there, Chairperson, and the recommendations are on page 15 of 16. And I've already read them in terms of introduction of the purpose. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions of clarity? The matter has been introduced comprehensively. Are there any questions of clarity or suggestions from the members? Advocate Sithole?
Thank you, Chairperson, and thanks to the presenter. I just have one point of clarity. It's in relation to the 3-year review period on the curtailment. It's not clear in the document whether this is to be done by NESA or it will be done by NTSA, who would have to submit the review report to NESA for consideration. If that can be clarified for me, I will appreciate it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Advocate Sithole. Mr. Mkhize?
Yes, thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Chairperson. And thanks to the presenters. I would just like to get clarity. I'm a bit, it's a bit unclear to me. You're saying that under 2.1.7, you're saying that the NTSA must continue to address other items of curtailment according to existing grid unavailability provisions outlined in the power purchase agreement. And you say that consequently curtailment resulting from oversupply, resulting from low demand is excluded from this approval. When we dealt with the grid preservation submission, there was this issue that they need to develop a framework that is all-encompassing. Are we, by entertaining this, not promoting a piecemeal approach to this, instead of a more holistic framework covering all the aspects that deal with the challenges in the meantime regarding grid availability? To have these also clearly outlined and understanding what then needs to be done by when to resolve these other matters that we're referring to. And then also under 4.4, this whole matter here, what are the implications on the pockets of the end users? Yeah, if you can just clarify that. And also 4.6, you referring there to these Section 34 IPPs as being paid energy, but you for the curtailment of energy by the Central Purchasing Agency as it is a designated buyer for the public procurement programs, but private generators do not receive this compensation. Are you saying this is not equitable or is not fair? What is the most equitable and fair way of dealing with this from your side? I'm not getting that, because it seems to be going somewhere but stops. So if you can just further clarify that, I would appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Mr. Mkhize and the team, can you please respond to the questions? Straight to the point, please.
Thank you, Chairperson. As previously, I will allow the team to respond and then I will cover the gaps. Ms. Rakalakane, you can come in. Thank you.
Okay, okay, thank you, Chairperson. So on the first question with regards to the 3-year review period, so this will be done. So the review itself will be done by NESA, but the NTCSA will need to provide information regarding this congestion curtailment. So the 3-year period coincidentally aligns with the end of the current MYPD 6 application period. So at the end of 3 years, we are also expecting that some of the projects that the NTCSA is expecting to start coming online to alleviate the grid constraints. The expectation is that some of these projects would start coming online around that time. So the request is that at the end of this 3-year period, the NTCSA to submit information to the energy regulator regarding progress that has been made on the TDP projects that are supposed to alleviate the constraints, and also to indicate the congestion curtailment levels that have been implemented in the 3 years and the cost associated with that, because that will then help us to evaluate if the level of curtailment that has been approved is sufficient, or actually also to monitor, because we're expecting that as the grid constraints are being resolved with grid expansions, the expectation is that the curtailment level is expected to drop. But mainly the indication is that NTCSA will be required to submit this information regarding congestion curtailment for review to the energy regulator at the end of the 3-year cycle, and it can be submitted as part of the MYPD, as part of their application for cost recovery. And then
okay, on that one, if you can just add the fact that there will be annual monitoring and by NERSA, and to conduct some impact on the market. So it will not wait for 3 years per se, but it will be accumulative work that will be done, just so that we can see what happened in the first year, what happened in the second year, what happened in the third year. Then we'll look into that effect, cumulatively, and then the review then of this, if it is approved by the regulator, will then take place of this curtailment will then take place after 3 years. If you can clarify it as such. So it's a process that NERSA must be very close, and it must be initiated by NERSA. Okay, you can then go to the other questions. Please be brief, just go straight to the point.
Okay, thank you, Chairperson. On the issue of the an all-encompassing framework, maybe I'll skip that for now, and maybe I'll ask the other colleagues to come in. Let me try and address I will try and address the issue on the compensation mechanism, especially as it relates to the Section 34 and the private entities, as asked by Mr. Mkhize, to say because this congestion curtailment will be implemented, it will be used to manage the grid after enabling some capacity to be added onto the grid, and that capacity to the benefit for all users. So when IPPs are curtailed due to this congestion curtailment, they need to be compensated, both Section 34 and the private. And currently, we don't have an issue with the Section 34, but with the private IPPs are not being compensated for curtailment. So how it will be done then for the private IPPs, because I understand that the question is for Section 34, it's paid by the single buyer office or through the central purchasing agency. For the private IPPs, they will be compensated for their curtailed energy by having the energy that they would have generated being credited to the off-taker's account. So that's how compensation will be taken care of in terms of the private IPPs. And in terms of the implications on the users, so higher, if the levels of this curtailment are left not monitored, and higher levels of curtailment are implemented. So the resultant impact on consumers is because it's cost, so meaning it will be higher electricity prices. But we also compare this with the benefits that the customer is also deriving from having additional capacity added onto the grid. So if not monitored, the impact will be high electricity prices, but the enabling of the capacity onto the grid also has a potential to decrease electricity prices. So there is an impact, but it's managed through the level that is allowed. Hence, we are proposing also a lower level of curtailment to be catered for. On an overall all-encompassing framework, I'm not sure if my other colleagues, if there's one who would want to jump in on that one. Thanks.
Thank you, Chairperson. It's Andile. I think the main reason we decided to go this route of actually considering only this phase of this kind of congestion curtailment, Chairperson, was to study the impact without really opening it up, from the beginning, because we are not sure how this will affect the consumers. Not necessarily that is the impact, in fact, on the tariff itself. This being the first of its kind for renewables. So we wanted to basically minimize, I think, and also study what would happen, in these 3 years. So we are going to use this as a base for basically studying and approving the framework, or developing the framework. But it's important to ensure that we do not just open it up from the word go, because it can have some serious impact, especially that we do not know at this point in time. We're not sure what is the level, because in most countries, at the beginning of the introduction of renewables, there are instances of a lag between grid expansion and connecting projects. So I think we are going to use this first 3 years as a way of studying its impact. Thank you, Chair. I hope I've answered.
Okay, let me go to Mr. Pukula.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think to some extent, the reason I dropped my hand is Mr. Klashega or Dr. Klashega has kind of addressed what I wanted to say, that in the 3 years, it really is going to be an experiment. But with the things that we are putting on, I think it's a controllable experiment. The second thing is that in the 3 years, it's unlikely that there would be many of these IPPs that would have built. I mean, if it hasn't been approved now, it takes a good 18 months to put up a sizable solar plant. So in the 3 years, there's not much that's going to happen, but there would be an assessment that would be done, because the part around that, getting the other customers to pay for what the private IPPs and whoever they would be contracted to is not equitable. But I think we need to find the other reasons that make it equitable to get the other customers to pay for this. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bukula. I hope Mr. Mkize Senior, you are happy with the response. Yes, there are some issues, but it is something that must be looked at by the regulator. There are limitations, there are controls in place, and then we'll monitor also the impact as indicated on an annual basis. Also from the customer's point of view, I think that the responses are, they've dealt with the issue insofar as what the regulator can do in the meantime. Mr. Mkhize?
Yeah, thanks, Chairperson, and thanks for the responses. I'm kind of not very comfortable with regard to the issue of equity, especially the private ones, because with the Section 34, you also call them accountable for not supplying, but the others not, but the challenge is shared throughout. So I mean the curtailment cost involved therein is shared throughout, even by those that don't necessarily directly benefit. I'm concerned, but we can, with the understanding that there's also some kind of exploration. I think that issue should be flagged as some of the things that will have to be closely monitored and see how things could be adjusted, as the issue has been explained from the point of view of also entering a learning phase. I would leave it at that. I think the crafting for me would be important in terms of ensuring that there is equitable treatment of customers. Thank you.
Okay, I think that, and also just the cost benefit analysis. If we don't do this, what is likely to happen? I think that's what should also inform our decision, so that there are certain trade-offs that are being considered. I think that should form part of our decision. Mr. Mkize or Junior, we would like to get to the close, unless you've got something to add insofar as the members' questions are concerned. If you can move to the members' questions, if we left out any.
Yes, indeed, Chairperson. I just wanted to also highlight, Chairperson, that the choice currently that we have is to not connect any new generation capacity and wait for the grid, to be expanded, or the capacity thereof. So, Chairperson, there is a 3.7 gigawatt that can be connected through this curtailment mechanism, which will benefit everyone, just addressing the issue of equity that Mr. Mkize was asking, because if there is that 3.7 gigawatt, Chairperson, it can, in my view, reduce the usage of OCGTs, which is obvious, of course, the most expensive generation that is used at peak hours. So particularly if there is a lot of wind in this 3.7 gigawatts, it also is available during the night peak hours. So in that sense, Chairperson, there is some benefit to everyone, although, of course, the quantity in terms of the quantifying amount, the amount by which everyone will be impacted, does not come through very clearly. But there is a benefit to everyone, Chairperson. Thank you.
Okay. All right, that's a matter of monitoring that is going to take place. Members, I would like to now go straight to the recommendations on paragraph 14. They have been read out, members. I would like to see if members are in support of the recommendations enumerated on paragraph 14. Is 14.11 up until 14.17. Thank you, Ms. Simane. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. Mr. Pukula, thank you. Advocate Sitole, thank you. I also support. Thank you very much, members. Members, we now step off this agenda item. We move on to the next one. That was item number 8 of the agenda. We're now on item number 9, which is the consultation paper on the concurrence with the Section 34 ministerial determination for the procurement of 400 megawatts new generation capacity by eThekwini Metropolitan Municipality from independent power producers. 100 megawatt of solar PV and 300 megawatt of natural gas. It is here for approval. Please introduce the matter.
Thank you, Chairperson. I think you have done that on my behalf, but I will just state that the eThekwini municipality is going to be purchasing this capacity from independent power producers. And this will be, as you said, Chairperson, a quantum of about 100 megawatts from solar PV as well as 300 megawatt from natural gas. The process for procurement needs to be fair, equitable, and transparent according to the requirement of the era. And the questions, Chairperson, that have been posed in the actual consultation paper, I would like the team to just highlight some of the questions, as well as to highlight any other issues that can possibly be encountered in this particular Section 34 determination. Chairperson, Mr. Mbalegelwa Chabalala is the team lead on this one. If not, any other of his team members can present. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkize, for the introduction of this submission. Good morning, Chairperson, members, management, colleagues, and members of the public. The purpose of this submission is to request Electricity Subcommittee to approve the publication of the consultation paper on concurrence with Section 34 Ministerial Determination for the procurement of 400 megawatts new generation capacity by eThekwini municipality from independent power producers. The Electricity Subcommittee is duly delegated as per Clause 2.1.1 and Clause 2.2.2 of the Electricity Delegation Matrix of 29 August 2024 to approve the request for public consultation paper and the request for publishing applications by licensees. Chairperson, on the 29th of August 2024, NERSA received a draft determination from the Minister in terms of Section 34 of the Act. This draft determination is aimed at addressing eThekwini's continued uninterrupted supply of electricity. The draft determination states that eThekwini municipality will be the buyer and procurer of the new generation capacity from the IPPs through a tendering process that is fair, equitable, transparent, competitive, and cost-effective. The main aspect of this draft Section 34 determination are discussed in the consultation paper, and they include the economic impact of the eThekwini from procuring 400 megawatt from IPPs, the public interest, Regulation 5 of the new gen regulations. The indicative timelines to this process of this draft are on table 2, that is on page number 6 of 81. Chairperson, the recommendations are on page number 8 of 81 and reads as follows. It is therefore recommended that ELS approve the publication of the consultation paper on the concurrence with the Section 34 Ministerial Determination for the procurement of 400 megawatt new generation capacity by eThekwini from independent power producers. That is 100 megawatt of solar PV and 300 megawatt natural gas attached here to as Annexure B. Note the proposed project timelines outlined in table number 2 and recommends to the energy regulator to note the consultation paper as mentioned above. I submit, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions of clarity or some suggestions to improve on the consultation? By show of hands, members. Mr. Mkize?
No, thanks, Chairperson, and thanks to the presenters, Mr. Shawara and Mr. Mkize. From my side, I think it will help just to keep track of this form of Section 34s by municipalities in terms of these new gen regulations. I think maybe the second one, if I'm not mistaken, this one. I think it will just help to keep track of that from our side, and also that if need be, we also are able to adjust our systems accordingly if, based on the workload that can be coming from that end. If we see any increase or whatever adjustment that need to be made, I think tracking that will be of assistance. But on the submission proper, I don't have any objections or concerns in terms of supporting the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I see no other hands. Members, the recommendations have been read out in terms of this consultation paper. Are members in support of the recommendations as read out? By show of hands, members. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Ms. Semane. Advocate Sitole. Thank you, Advocate Sitole. Are you in support, Mr. Bukula?
Yes, Chair, I am.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Bukula.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, members, for your support. Thank you, members. Members, we are now on item number 10, which is the net billing rules for licensed electricity distributors. Please take the matter as read, provide some background and the context for this matter.
Thank you, Chairperson. This matter is one which has been before this committee. If I stand to be corrected, about 3 times, Chairperson. The purpose is to request the ELS to approve the net billing rules, as well as the reasons for decision document. Chairperson, I just want to highlight the key salient points as you have guided. The rules aim to assist licensees or distributors to create a transparent tariff structure which has favorable terms for the prosumer to export surplus power to the grid. So Chairperson, I may just also highlight that Eskom already has this particular scheme or tariff, which is called the home flex tariff, whereby its customers are able to sell excess power to the grid. And the purpose of this is to then extend it to the rest of the industry. So these will be industry rules to assist licensees to be able to come up or to craft a tariff for this purpose, Chairperson. Chairperson, I'll also just include the fact that this framework for net billing was received from the NECOM in the early in January of 2023 and has been with the regulator for a period of almost 18 months. And Chairperson, I think the main issue up until now was in grappling with the fact as to whether the regulator has got the jurisdiction to come up with these rules. And Chairperson, I would just like to highlight that there has been a consensus between ourselves, Electrical and LAS. We have arrived at the point that the regulator indeed has got the jurisdiction as delegated by the ERA to be able to craft these rules. Chairperson, I will hand over to Mr. Moefi Moroeng to present this submission and to also have it to take the matter as having been read and highlight the points which I have not highlighted in this introduction. Thank you, Mr. Moroeng.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you. Good morning, members. Good morning, members of the ELS, and also the colleagues and members of the public. The purpose of this submission is to allow the ELS, which is the Electricity Subcommittee, to approve the rules for the rules that are developed for distributors, the net billing rules that are developed for distributors, and also approve the the draft decision and the decision that has been made by the team. So before I may start, maybe let's just make one introduction or just a summary in terms of why do we develop these rules? What is the rationale for us to develop the rules? So due to rising electricity prices and recent generation capacity shortages, which have led to the implementation of load shedding, many customers are now opting to generate their own electricity and move away from the grid. And as a way of offsetting their electricity bills and to mitigate the impact of load shedding, especially those with the energy storage. So what actually happened is now that the net billing was proposed, but it was through NICOM at that stage. The scheme was proposed as an initiative by the government aiming to address the shortage. In other jurisdictions, net billing is used to encourage adoption of renewable energy to renewable energy technologies to support decarbonization. So why are we doing it as the regulator in terms of oversight? On our side, we say we will promote renewable energy development, and then also encourage energy efficiency, and also the reduction in bills. The initiative is to respond to market. It's not to respond to market failure, but a proactive policy by government to incentivize those with rooftop system and a surplus of energy to contribute to the grid. By so doing, they receive credits of excess power they have put into the grid, and also to avoid adverse impacts on non-participatory customers. There will be customers who are not participating, but the rules will allow us to also be able to see how we can make sure that there are not cost increases from those that have the system. In terms of regulation, we say as NERSA, we regulate tariffs and for distributors. So in these instances, the rules will be used for regulation of compensation of tariffs for those customers who are feeding back into the grid. How should the distributor now compensate them? And in terms of fairness for non-participant, as I indicated earlier, we said those that are not participating on net billing should not be adversely affected. And also the time of use valuation that will show that the grid is credited based on the time of use of supply. So in terms of the prosumers, why are they concerned to us? The prosumers are those people who will be generating electricity and feeding it back to the grid, meaning that they consume and produce energy at the same time. And they represent a unique challenge for distributors and grid operators. Without proper rules and regulations, the rise of prosumers can lead to illegal connections or the installation of improper equipment. So in terms of the distributors, we say they will give them a clear guidelines on how to implement the scheme effectively, and also tracking the patterns of those that are connected into the grid, and also reduce the need for investment in expensive and large-scale power generation facilities. So these rules, Chair, are developed in terms of Section 35, 1A, B, C of the Electricity Regulation Act. And if I may go back to the recommendations, we say that the ELS subcommittee approved the net billing rules for licensed distributors and also approved the draft decision and reasons for decision. But we also say they must note that previously we had the stakeholders also that commented on the consultation paper that was developed. And also we say note that also that the net billing framework developed by NICOM is attached also as an lecture. Thank you, Chair.
right, thank you very much for that introduction. Members, any questions of clarity? Last time, I think the issue of jurisdiction was the main thing. And the team, we have also requested during our discussion with the team that the scope of our jurisdiction be clarified. And also, I think if Mr. Gashega also may come in at some point to indicate as well what are some of the challenges that they are seeking to deal with regards to why we would want to regulate the net billing. I think they may come in later on, but for now, I'll take questions from the members. I'll start off with Ms. Semane. Ms. Semane, followed by Mr. Mkize. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson, and thank you very much to our team that has presented. I will request for their indulgence and patience in case one is repeating themselves, because I think, yeah. For me, Chair, I'm just not clarified in terms of how this came to us. I'm hearing two conflicting statements that NECOM brought it to NESA, and here it is. That is how I'm hearing it. And the other part, when it was presented, is that NESA has develop this. So I just want clarity, because when I read the document and reconcile it to what is presented, I'm a bit confused. Then the second comment or question is that then I'm also looking on the previous comment. My issue is, do we have it as a standard that other people can develop rules, whether it's distribution or otherwise, then as a regulator, we approve? And the reason I'm asking that is just concerned about issues of core regulation and also self-regulation being moonlight as a decision of a regulator. That is my major concern. I'll just stop here for now. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mane. Mr. Mkhize.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thanks to the presenters. I think this has been long in coming and appreciated. I don't want to really talk to the submission itself, but I just got another concern here that I think that we should also look at in terms of the broader intent or as well as the objects of the act. The possibility of some corruption around prosumers. If we look at municipal level, what could happen there? I think that we should not just stay away and say we are only responsible. We just talk about our mandate, because I've seen that over time, the lack of law enforcement, especially when it comes to these issues, tends to undermine development. I think if you go to any developed country, you see that law enforcement is at the center of that particular development. It's just me thinking now, thinking aloud on this matter, that we shouldn't just absolve ourselves of the responsibility to consider overarching issues that could have an impact on the successful implementation of sale. I rest my case, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Shall we please provide some clarity as posed by the members? Please just start with a question of clarity from Mr. Mane. Maybe there is also a confusion in the way that the matter has been presented, so that it is not, it doesn't come out as a project of NECOM and therefore the energy regulator takes over, but it must be stated clearly. And that's why I said put the context, even if there are also other stakeholders that are calling for this,
but NERSA's role must be properly clarified, why we had to intervene in this manner. Can we please clarify why are we intervening in this manner? Mr. Kasheka, and then followed by the others.
Thank you, Chairperson. I think the main thing is that the industry is quickly, picking up in terms of the rooftop solar PVs and some small distributed systems, and therefore NERSA needs to also, monitor the space, because it does affect the distributors who are also our licensees. So this would assist as well in terms of ensuring that there is compliance in terms of connections, and for prosumers as well, it will also encourage them to settle, because the incentive that's being offered, even though it's for excess energy, which we know it is basically energy that would have otherwise been wasted. So, but now they'll be able to feed it back, and this would assist in terms of reducing technical losses at distribution levels, because the energy is now will be generated closer. If it's generated closer and is being fed back, this assists as well in reducing the losses for the local distributor. So, Chairperson, I think the main thing again is that what the tariffs that are going to come out, or the compensation of excess energy, NERSA would also be in a position to approve the level of the credit that it would be implemented for on the bill itself. So we are proposing that this be, it should come in at a level that is not higher than what the municipalities or distributors are already purchasing, are using for purchasing energy from the main utility, which is ESCOM in this case. So those are the main things about the credit. So there would be distributors would follow the principles and also the clauses of the credit code, which we've highlighted as well, included in the rules. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. May we also please add, who are we regulating here? Is it the prosumers, or are we regulating our licensees here in terms of how much they are going to charge? If that can also be clarified. Mr. Wefi and Mr. Kiza Jr., please.
If I may respond quickly to the issues raised by Ms. Mani, is that this actually happened during the time when there was load shedding. And that time it was that decision that was taken by the NICOM that they will try to get some way of assisting ESCOM and government to alleviate load shedding. Hence, they developed the NICOM, let me call it that framework. But NERSA couldn't just accept that framework. We had to develop our rules. So we also was guided by that framework that was developed by the industry stakeholders. The second question is that to avoid self-regulation, we are developing these rules for distributors. It's not for prosumers, as probably some people will indicate, but it's for the distributors to make sure that the tariff or the credit rate that they will apply to those who are feeding back into the grid, it's appropriate, and it does not impact on other customers who doesn't have a system. So meaning that they will have to base their cost on cost of supply studies that they will provide to us. In the broader things of what Mr. Mkhize has asked in terms of commitment, prosumers will not there will be no corruption and all that. We in the rules we stated that there should be a report coming from those municipalities. They must report to NERSA in terms of the performance of how the scheme is working and the impact on technical and also on the other customers who doesn't have a system. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Anything to add, Mr. Mkhize Jr.?
Thank you, Chairperson. I may just add, Chairperson, that the very reason that these rules are being developed, just to put Mr. Mkhize at ease, is for the protection of consumers, so that the way in which the tariff is set is fair for both the licensee as well as the prosumer. And also maybe just to touch on Maasimane's question of the purpose of the rules. The rules are basically a means by which the licensee will apply, or a basis for him to apply for this particular tariff, Chairperson, and it will be then approved by the regulator. So I just wanted to highlight that, Chairperson, and obviously also this is also to promote sustainability of the electricity supply industry, so that when this scheme is implemented, it's implemented in a sustainable manner that is fair and transparent. So thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, members. If there are no further questions, may I then, let me just check first if the questions have been adequately addressed. Let me check, Ms. Semane. Are you now happy that, yes, there were initiatives from stakeholders in the industry, and the regulator must then scan the industry as to what the stakeholders who are participating in the industry feel that there is a gap, and therefore alert the regulator to say the regulator must come in and consider ways and means of intervening in the industry. So yes, then I think the regulator then took up this and did its own process of developing the rules, not necessarily to take the framework. I just want to check if that has now addressed the concern, Ms. Semane.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. I'm well covered, and thank you to the gentlemen that have addressed my questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mkhize, are you also happy with the questions the responses to your questions?
As it was partly also a comment in the sense that we need to be firm in terms of compliance monitoring and enforcement going forward, and also work with other law enforcement agencies in terms of curbing any form of malfeasance or corruption. I'm happy with the response provided, and urge the team to do exactly that, ensuring fairness. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mkhize. Members, may I then take you to the recommendations on this? The recommendations are on page. Can you assist with the page number? I think we can just
5 of 189, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Chair. You also, thank you, Mr. Pugula.
Apologies, Chair. I think my one is stuck. It's not the right page I gave.
Okay. All right. Mr. Mkhize Jr., can you please assist here?
Chair, the recommendations are on page 13 of 75 Greenstein.
Okay. Stamped pages, okay. All right, yes. On paragraph 14, it is recommended that the Electricity Subcommittee approves the net billing rules for the licensed electricity distributors attached here as Annexure A, also approves the draft reasons for decision document attached as Annexure B, note the stakeholder comments attached as Annexure C, and also to note the net billing framework developed by NECOM. I'm not sure about the last one, paragraph D, members, whether we really need to note that one. The framework itself, I don't know how it comes to this. Members, can we just strike out that framework? I don't know what we are noting it for. I've signed, but I just wanted to check if you are also in agreement with that. Item number D.
Agreed.
For the decision. Okay, thank you. Mr. Tole? Mr. Tole, on item D?
Chair, my thumbs was up and Ms. Mane's thumbs was up to say you support the striking out, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Let me check, Mr. Pugula.
Thank you, Chair. I'm covered.
All right, thank you very much. Members, then by show of hands, if you then approve item 14A, B, and C. By show of hands, members. Thank you. Thank you, Advocate Sitole, Mr. Mkize, Ms. Semane, as well as Mr. Pugula. Thank you very much, members. I also support. We now move on, members, to the next agenda item, item number 11, the application for a tariff reduction and amendment of the power purchase agreement by Loris Fontaine to Wind Farm, Pty Ltd. Item 11, please introduce the matter. Take it as read, please.
Thank you, Chairperson. I will just highlight the fact that this is an application for a tariff reduction as well as the amendment of the power purchase agreement by Loris Fontaine Wind Farm. Chairperson, the tariff that needs to be approved is a reduction, Chairperson, from an amount of 0.76582 Rand per kilowatt hour. It should have been in cents, down to 0.74 Rand per kilowatt hour. This translates to a reduction of 1 Rand 34 per kilowatt hour down to 1 Rand 31 per kilowatt hour in terms of April 2024 terms, Chairperson. The decision is expected to result in a saving of about 249 million for consumers, and it has a minimal impact on the project's financial feasibility, Chairperson. Furthermore, the application does comply with the licensee's license conditions, as well as align with NERSA's mandate to ensure regulatory service delivery. Chairperson, lastly, the decision was made following the consultation with the IPP office, the NTCSA, as well as other stakeholders implicated, Chairperson. That is the submission in a nutshell, Chairperson. If there are any other details, I would advise Mr. Hopper to keep it to the minimum and just provide what I have not said in this introduction. Mr. Hopper, you can come in.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Mkize. I think you've covered almost all that needs to be said, and this goes for item 11, 12, and 13. All of them are for the tariff reduction and amendment of the PPA, but for item 11, it's for Loris Fontaine. And then the submission is delegated to the ELS as per clause 112 of the delegation matrix, which is for the consideration of the amendment of the existing PPAs that has impact on the approved tariff. Is delegated to the ELS. The tariffs for the bid window 1 up to 3.5, they were high than compared to the bid window 4 and 5. This was due to the presence of the premium risk as well as the capital cost at that time for solar implementation. Highlighted and then the last form is asking to look at the ways of reducing those approved tariffs, which are looked for 20 years. And with that, then we can go to the recommendation for Loris Fontaine. The recommendation is on page 5 of 15. Thanks, Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Hopper. Members, any questions of clarity? By show of hands. Okay, members, if there are no questions of clarity, shall I then take you to the recommendations? Sorry, members, I'm just taking you to the recommendations on paragraph 14. What about that? But at paragraph 14.1, the electricity subcommittee is requested to approve the tariff reduction from the amounts that are stated and blocked out. And the base year for that reduction is April 2030 adjusted to market conditions at refinancing date. This translates to a tariff reduction from the amount stated to the amount stated on the date on April 1st, 2024 terms. And the committee is also requested to note that the PPA will be amended to reflect the adjusted tariff. By show of hands, members. If you support the two decisions, thank you, Mr. Bukula, thank you, Advocate Zitole, thank you, Mr. Mkize, and thank you, Ms. Semane. I also support. Thank you very much, members, for the decision. We now step out of this agenda item, moving on to item number 12 of the agenda, which is also the application for a tariff reduction and amendment of the PPA agreement by Kobab Wind Farm, Pty Ltd. Please introduce the item.
Thank you, Chairperson. This one is similar to the last, except that the reduction is from R1.32 per kilowatt hour down to R1.29 per kilowatt hour in terms of April 2024 terms. There is an expected reduction of 280 million on this one as well, Chairperson, for consumers over the remaining PPA term. This also results in a 2.35% tariff reduction for customers, Chairperson. I thought it would be important just to highlight those numbers and not probably take any more time with elaborating further. So, Chairperson, I will hand it back over to you with that amendment in terms of the numbers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me ask the members if there's any question of clarity before we take the decision. By show of hands, members, if you have any. There's none. Okay. Members, I would like to take you to the recommendations. The recommendations are on paragraph 14 of the covering submission. 14.1, the Electricity Subcommittee is requested to approve the tariff reduction from the amount stated, which is blocked, to the amount that is also blocked. Base year being April, the 1st of April 2013, and that the tariff will be adjusted to market conditions at refinancing date that is stated. This will then translate to a tariff reduction from the amount that is stated there to the lower amount as of 1st April 2024 terms. And then also the committee is requested to note the amendment of the power purchase agreement to reflect the adjusted tariff. By show of hands, members, if you support the two decisions requested. Thank you, Mr. Bukula. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. I also support. Thank you, Advocate Zitole. Ms. Semane, do you support? Thank you, Ms. Semane. Not seeing your hand. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Semane. Thank you very much, members. I would like to now take the members to item number 13. Item number 13 is the application for a tariff reduction and amendment of the PPA by Newport Wind Farm, Pty Ltd. Please take the matter as read.
Thank you, Chairperson. Once again, this is a similar matter. I will also just state that the tariff reduction is from R1.24 to about R1.23. It does seem like a small amount, which is almost like a cent, but Chairperson, it does translate to a saving for the consumers. Chairperson will take the matter as being read, and I will hand it back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, members. By show of hands, if you have any questions of clarity or some areas of improvement that you would like to raise. There's a hand from, is it Ms. Semane?
Yes, Chair, and thank you very much for the presentation. From my side, Chair, maybe just to relieve ourselves of this, why can't we have maximum prices like we do for pipe gas? within which the operators or the distributors can move. Like, for instance, we've got a maximum price, so they can charge anything from there downwards, rather than for them to be having to come to the regulator when they have to adjust their tariffs. They can do it themselves. Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much, Ms. Semane. Mr. Mkhize, Junior.
Chairperson, maybe just to elaborate on what Mr. Hopa had said earlier, Chairperson, that this is a legacy issue of bid windows 1 to 3.5, Chairperson, where the tariffs were set at much higher levels because of the risks that existed at the time. Obviously, the lenders perceived the program as being risky because it was at the beginning of, it was at its inception. South Africa had not done anything like this before. But going forward, Chairperson, the rates have reduced significantly, such that for the last bid window, there were tariff or rates that were below R1, as opposed to the ones from bid windows 1 to 3.5 that were above R5. So that is the background to this, Chairperson. Thank you.
Okay, the question is, why can't we charge a maximum price? Are we allowed to do that in section 15 of the ERA? The section 15 of the ERA imposes a tariff, or allows the regulator to impose a tariff, and that licensees must charge the tariff that is approved by the regulator. So that there, it doesn't talk about the maximum. So I thought you would clarify the mandate of the energy regulator in relation to section 15 of the ERA.
It is noted, Chairperson. The process comes, the setting of the tariff comes out of a bidding process. So the tariff is set via that bidding process, Chairperson. Thank you.
Okay. But we don't have the mandate for setting the maximum price. It's not specified in section 15, just to be specific to the question that is being asked. So that section of the ERA states clearly that the licensees will not charge any other price but the one that is approved by the regulator. So, and also it doesn't leave any room for other prices to be charged, because also it considers the cost of supply and all of that. Mr. Pukula?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to add that these reductions are not reductions that these IPPs are doing out of their own volition. These reductions are reductions that were requested, that now that we have gone through the process, there were certain events that we had anticipated that didn't happen, and they were compensated for those events. So now they must kind of give back that money. So it's not like the IPP wants to reduce it. No IPP is going to give money back if it is not asked to. And they are doing this because there was an action of saying that we still don't think that certain parts were efficient in this, as section 15.1 of the ERA said. But I think the other part you've said, Chairperson, is that electricity prices are not regulated by maximum prices. Thanks, Chair. I thought I would add.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bogola. The question is now clarified. Thank you very much. Members, I would like to take you to item number 14, which are the recommendations. The Electricity Subcommittee is requested to approve the tariff reduction from the amount that has been blocked out to the other amount that is also a lower amount as of 1st April 2013 as the base year, and it is adjusted to market conditions at refinancing date. This translates to a tariff reduction of the amount that is stated to the lower amount that is also stated as of 1st April 2024 terms, and then approve the inclusion of the reduced tariff in the power purchase agreement. Well, that's still, it's a change, but it still means the same thing that we note, the reduced tariff that will be included in the power purchase agreement that has to be amended. Members, if you approve those two decisions, by show of hands, members. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Ms. Samane, Advocate Sitole, and Mr. Mkize. Thank you very much, members. Members, we now step out of this agenda item. We move on to the next agenda item, which is item number 15. Application by ESCOM to amend its license to operate a distribution facility to include the Warden and Ezenzeleni areas into its Schedule 1 of the list of supply areas transferred from Phumelela Local Municipalities license. It is here for approval. Please introduce the item.
Thank you, Chairperson. As we have said, this is an application by ESCOM to have its Schedule 1 of its distribution license to be amended to allow ESCOM to charge, also to charge the same tariff in the area that is highlighted, which is Warden and Ezenzeleni areas, which are currently under the jurisdiction of Phumelela Local Municipality. So, Chairperson, this will obviously be a win for these residents as they will be now charged an ESCOM tariff, which is much more favorable in most cases than the municipal tariff. The application was submitted on the 30th of January 2024, and I must highlight, Chairperson, that there has been delays with regards to processing this application due to a bit of a not meeting of minds when it comes to the issue of areas of supply, Chairperson. So the local municipality supports the transfer of this, from itself to ESCOM to address the issue of electricity losses as well as financial issues that it is having. So we do recommend, Chairperson, the approval of the license amendment as applied for by ESCOM. Chairperson, I don't think I've left anything out, but if there is anything of important, Mr. Ramokoka, you can just add to this introduction. Thank you.
Okay, let's give the members an opportunity to ask questions of clarity. By show of hands, members, if there are any. Mr. Pukula.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, on 4.7, I think we state that we advertised, published, and notified members, but there were no objections. I don't know if then, based on that, we then have a ruling that has been made of not calling a public hearing. Because normally when you call a public hearing and no one is also going to present, then yes, you don't have a public hearing. But here it doesn't look like we wanted to have one. I just want to check if that's the process we follow. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Advocate Sitole.
Thank you, Chair. One of my points has been covered by Mr. Pukula because I wanted to just find out whether we just solely rely on the correspondence between ESCOM and the municipality to cover the issue of public consultation or not. And the second point that I had, Chair, in the letter from municipality on P29, the green stem 29, there's an issue relating to assets there to say that it will be finalized. And I was just wondering if that issue on the assets have been finalized, considering that we have received this application around January or Feb. So if the team can indicate that we did get a communication relating to the finalization of how the assets that are relating to the supply area that the Munich is now handing over to ESCOM has been addressed or not, because it tends to really cause some issues, especially when you look at issues of evaluation or etc. But I would like to get that confirmation from the team that that issue has been addressed. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Advocate Sitole. May we please respond to the two questions? First, the question of the public hearing.
Yes, Chairperson, on the two issues of public consultation as well as the asset transfer, I would ask Mr. Hopper and his team to please respond. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Mkhize. On the question of the public hearing, yes, the NERSA did advertise for a public hearing, and as per the procedure, if there's no one who registered to present or raise an objection, the public hearing is cancelled, and it's assumed that there is no any objection nor issues raised by the public. So it's as per our internal procedure.
Where is it, Mr. Mkoka? Where in the submission, so that we can refer the members to the point that you made, that the public hearing was advertised on such and such a date, and members of the public were invited to make their oral presentations in the public hearing, and that there was no one who requested to present, and therefore the public hearing could not proceed. Where is that in the submission?
Chair, yeah, thanks, Chair. I think it's on the RFD. I'm just scrolling through my documents, so as we can share that with the members. If I can, maybe if I can talk to the second part, and my other colleagues.
Other team members can assist. We've
Yes.
got an EM here, acting EM here. The acting EM must be, in the meantime, go to the page, and so that at that level we can then get a better also response with regards to the public hearing consultation. You can go to the second question in the meantime.
All right. Thanks, Chairperson. Chairperson, this application is the transfer of the asset is depending on the approval of this application. On the 8th of September, when NERSA staff conducted the inspection in loco, this issue was raised. But however, the issue of the transfer, it can only be transferred after this application has been approved. And therefore, we will have to wait on the outcome of this sitting. If when it's approved, that's when the transfer will be concluded. Thanks, Chairperson.
Thank you. Can you please go to the first question?
Chairperson, on the issue of the public consultation, this will be an amendment to the submission, Chairperson, because there is only a mention of ESCOM's publication in paragraph 5.1, Chairperson. But I see that we will have to then enhance this submission. Thank you, Chairperson.
Enhance where, before I could give Mr. Pugula, because we're not answering the question, all that we want to see is evidence that the application or there was an advert sent out for public hearings. So we need that evidence, and so that you point us to that evidence. And therefore, if then there's any amendment of the submission, it is amended in line with the evidence that indeed that action was taken by the regulator, and that there were no interested parties or affected parties that requested to make presentations. And if that can also be confirmed with the RSU. Mr. Pugula, I would like to give you the opportunity.
Thank you, Chair. I'm starting to be uncomfortable with the direction that this particular submission is going to go, because the question was pointedly asked, and you have also asked it, and Mr. Hopper said that that statement is in the RFT, and when you make a statement like that, you are either not telling the truth or misleading the committee, because it is not in the RFD. It is also not in the and therefore this submission is not in front of the regulator properly. All decisions that the regulator must make, they must ensure that they have afforded affected parties or stakeholders an opportunity to present facts and evidence. And if they have not been afforded that, then we are just treading, yes, all of the letters are saying it's good, but we have to follow our own rules to make sure that we never put the regulator in a difficult position. So I am unhappy with the response that has been given and the misleading way that we have been told that it's on the RFD. It is not proper to do that in a committee. When you don't have something, you just say that it is not. You don't mislead the committee. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Ms. Samane?
Thank you very much, Chair. From my side, I think I'm also beginning to be uneasy with this, and it's happening just at the back foot of having had the public hearings. And some of the issues that members of the public were complaining about is the choice of publications that are used. So from my side, I would say the submission has to go back, and we make sure that we publicize public hearings, NESA's public hearings, not the ESCOM. We don't have jurisdiction on what ESCOM is doing. We publicize NESA's public hearing on this matter on a platform or communication that is used, be it a local newspaper for that local municipality, be it a community radio station, but we use a medium that is accessible and has the required eyeballs or ears that are for that municipality. So what I want us to be assured of, and we should do, is that we must do the right thing, do it and be seen to have done the right thing. Because if we are to proceed along these lines, then the accusations that are always labeled at the regulator that we are in bed with ESCOM are going to hold water. So for me, I would say the submission has to go back and we properly advertise on where the community is reachable and is using those publications so that they can see what is happening, and we must produce evidence upfront because these things are very key for the integrity and reputation of NESA. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. Members, without wasting any time, and due to the lack of concrete and specific facts and evidence demonstrated by the team on whether or not this was advertised, the public hearings, we are taking the submission back for the team to address the crucial step. It is a crucial step. It's not for NERSA to choose not to. It is a statutory requirement. So that statutory requirement it has to be fulfilled. So the submission is taken back so that we can fulfill the requirement of Section 10 of the National Energy Regulator Act of 2004, insofar as public hearings are concerned. Members, if you can raise your hand in support of this decision, take it back to fulfill the requirements of the law. Thank you, Ms. Semane. Thank you, Advocate Sitole. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. I also support. Mr. Pukula, you also support for the record?
Yes, Chair. Thank you. I support.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So item number 15 has been taken back to ensure that there's compliance with Section 10 of the NERA. Now we move on, members, to item number 16, the second quarter report on the findings of the electricity distribution compliance audits. Please introduce the matter.
Thank you, Chairperson. I will only mention that this is a quarterly report that is tabled before the ELS for noting purposes. I will ask Mr. Hopper and his team to present the main concerns regarding the audits that were done in the first quarter, and also to just put it before members in terms of what the regulator is doing concerning these non-compliances. Thank you, Mr. Hopper and your team.
Thank you, Mr. Mkize. Mr. Khopa, do you want to come first?
No, you can go first. It's fine.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Chairperson, ELS members, management, and NERSA colleagues. The purpose of this submission is to request the ELS to note this second quarter report on the findings of the electricity distribution compliance audits. This is one of those routine reports that we send quarterly after we have done a number of audits. And this is per section 3.2 of the revised delegation matrix that was approved in August of this current year. In this case, we did 6 audits, and those are on page 4 of 38. We have a table with a summary of non-compliances. If you look at these, things were a little bit better than normal because almost 3 of these audits were conducted on private distributors that tend to do things differently from the normal other licenses. And then the recommendations are on page 5 for this to be noted. I would also like to apologize for forgetting to mention that another recommendation is for this to be published on the NERSA website. Thank you very much.
Is it not Mr. Khopa? Were you not supposed to come in after Ms. Bulelo?
No, thanks, Chair. I think she has presented everything that needs to be said. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Members, any questions of clarity? Let me start off with Mr. Pukula.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, on page 16 of 38 or table 9, summary of key non-compliances, there's the Elias Motsoaledi municipality that it's indicated that it has implemented an unapproved tariff. And then there's Sasol, where, because I mean, whether you're a private or whatever distributor, you do get a tariff approved by the regulator, where we have nothing. So I also want to just find out that from this finding, that process of having to then set up a tribunal, because I know that we have been using the sending letters of non-conformance, but we have been found wanting by the AG. And this is an easier one to set up a tribunal and get this going if what the other process that's being undertaken. I note that it's not mentioned in the report, but maybe it's not the place of the report to mention it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Ms. Seman.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson, and thanks to Ms. Bulelo. From my side, Chair, I just forgot to note the specific page number, but where in the report we refer to vacancies having not been filled, are those in general the vacancies in the municipality, or are they vacancies relating to electricity distribution? That's the first one. And the second one, when I saw that, obviously I need some enlightenment. When I saw that, to me, it felt like a regulatory overreach if we're going to go to that extent, but it's just what I was sensing. You can just take me to a confidence in terms of how far, why do we go that far when we do the audits? Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can we please provide responses, Ms. Bulelo?
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me start with Mr. Pukula, where he mentioned Elias Motsoaledi and Sasol that were not compliant with the tariff. In the case of Sasol, when we sent them the report and we expected management comments from them, we picked up that they were undercharging their customers. What was approved by NERSA for the industrial customers was 0.7 cents kilowatt per hour, but they agreed that they were making a mistake of charging less, which is 0.635. So those reports are now with LAS. We are helping each other to start the process of setting up a tribunal. And when LAS is ready to bring them to the ELS again, those two reports will be part of that folder that will be presented to the ELS to allow or encourage or recommend that a tribunal is set up for those that have non-compliances. Thank you. And then Ms. Simane's question, I got the first question about vacancies. Yes, those vacancies are only for the electricity department because we don't want to know what's happening with water and other things. So those vacancies are only for the electricity department. May I get Ms. Simane's other question? Sorry, I didn't get it right. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Gobe. Ms. Gobe, may you clarify that part of the electricity department? When you say electricity department, you're referring to the licensees electricity department, so that
yes,
you don't delve into other departments within that the licensees businesses.
Yes, Ms. Maseti, we focus because it's an electricity license conditions. We tell them that we focus only on electricity matters. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Samane. May you please on the second question?
Okay, I'm covered. I think she answered it. I was saying by going to the extent of looking at their vacancy rates, is it not a regulatory overreach? So I think when I heard her saying that it is a license condition that we do the audits in the manner that we are doing them, she can correct. Bulelu can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, that is exactly like that, Ms. Simane. Thank you.
Okay, to the extent that obviously the employee costs will also affect the tariffs that they charge. So I think that's why they will have to look at also at the vacancies and the overall staff complement. All right, Mr. Pukula, are you happy with the response? I suppose if it's the matter is with the LAS, then the merits of whether or not there is non-compliance, there's sufficient evidence to that effect, then we can look at it when that submission is presented in the next ELS meeting.
Thank you, Chair. I'm fine with that. I'm covered. Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Pugula and Mr. Mani, for the questions. I would like to take the members now to the recommendations. The recommendations on paragraph 14, that the electricity subcommittee is requested to note the second quarter, trying to read, a report on the electricity distribution compliance audits attached here to as an extra one. And then with the clarification that has been provided, members, are you happy to support this decision?
Chair, apologies to interject. She also asked that the submission be approved for publication on the website, which she omitted on the submission. Please consider that too.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. But we had said in the previous meetings that we don't necessarily need to approve that, because it is an action that the team must do anyway. And that is not only with electricity, with gas, and also with petroleum pipelines. So these matters will be put in the NERSA website. So there's no decision that is required for that. Okay. All right, members, are you happy with the decision that is sought, which is the noting of this second quarter report on the compliance audits? By show of hands, members. Thank you, Ms. Samane. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. Thank you, Advocate Sitole. I also support. Thank you very much, members. Members, we now about to consider the governance matters. So at this point, I would like to thank the stakeholders and affected parties that were following these proceedings. And I would like to now close the meeting so that we can consider governance